Hi everyone, this is me Jyotika Bedi, your host, psychologist and the founder of Happiness is Love. And this is our new logo, which my dear husband has designed for us. Hope you like it. Today I have with me someone very, very special, the man of my dreams, Sandeep Bedi. He's an impact entrepreneur and the father of our 3 children. Welcome to our Happiness is Love podcast.
Thank you.
And thank you
Happy to be here.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and cheerleader. Is parenting natural or learned? We are not born with good parenting skills, so it's really not an instinct, but rather a learned and an acquired skill. I believe it's a combination of personal experiences, learning from our own mistakes, successes of others, being aware of what you bring to the table, what are your child's needs, and doing your healing work. Children need a parent, not a boss. Having a child is not just a 20-year-old project, it's lifetime because we are parents for life. Providing for a child is different from raising a child. And I believe the greatest gift we can give our children is to love them unconditionally, accept them for who it is that they are, and not the version that we expect them to be. Today, I really want to talk about what conscious parenting means to Sandeep and me. My first question to you is, I would like to first discuss what are the things parents, modern parents, need to build within themselves first before they embark on this beautiful parenting journey.
Parenting is a team sport.
Correct.
Right? So, and the 2 parents and the extended family have to come together as a team.
Yeah.
Right? So, the most important thing in parenting is how in sync the parents are.
Starts with the couple.
Yeah, so the parents are the starting point. And just like you said, if it were about the kid, then it'd be called kidding, but it's not, it's parenting. So it's like when a child is born, so is the parent.
Right.
And the parent is the more mature out of the 2, and so you have to raise yourself to take on this responsibility, which is probably the most important responsibility we as human beings shoulder, because we're creating civilization, we're creating
future generations,
evolution. So extremely important to be in sync. And what sync means is, doesn't mean that you'll never have differences. It doesn't mean कि कभी लड़ाई नहीं होगी, कभी disagreement नहीं होगा. It's how you resolve it. The manner in which you handle all of that, because there's always going to be these eyes looking at you, learning, emulating how a situation has to be dealt with. So consciousness and awareness that now you're being watched all the time, and then adapting and improving your own style, especially on how you handle conflict, how you handle crisis, how you handle challenges. It's extremely important. So to me, it all starts with that sync, and I think there is discussions that need to happen between parents, wherein the husband and the wife sit down and say, this style needs to be improved, and you become mirrors for each other. And if you're living in an extended family, then the grandparents need to come in, your siblings need to come in, because everything is going to be watched.
And can you please share, sorry to interrupt, can you please share when we first met, what is that one thing that you shared with me, that the most important relationship from this moment on is going to be this relationship, because your parenting also starts with your marriage and you live by that.
Sure, so you just shared it, so absolutely. The foundation of every relationship, once you're married, is the marriage, because if you're happy and if you're in sync at home, then things fall in place everywhere else. So making that investment is extremely, extremely important. And one of the things that we guys as human beings do is, we are always a destination driven mindset, but it's the journey, it's the distance. It's like how much distance are we going to cover? You know, in getting to that sync is more important than saying, oh, that's it, oh, it's working or it's not working. It's all about how do we make it work as these two individuals have chosen to be together. So, it's never ending work, but very rewarding. I mean, like if you have a loving, peaceful, supportive family life, I mean, it's just, there's tons of successful and not so successful people who've all come down to this, that, if you have a loving, collaborative, supportive relationship, that's ultimate success.
Yeah.
So it's an everyday journey, and I think as parents, you're also creating the next generation.
Yeah.
So to me, getting that one piece right and working on it day on day is extremely important.
Right. So basically for you, it's first prioritizing your marriage if you want to raise your children right. Then it's also taking care of your well-being, your own health, because everything springs from there. And I know you're a roaring example of taking care of your mind and body.
So in team sport, everybody knows their roles.
Yeah.
And you support the other in playing that role the best that you can.
Right.
I mean, you take cricket.
Yeah.
There are fielders and there are bowlers and there's a wicket keeper. And you're supporting the bowler in whatever is going on.
Yeah.
So he places the field. So that's it's a team sport. So you can't tell the bowler, oh, don't do this.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a clear distinction or a clear absolute clarity in terms of what each of the parents are supposed to do. So where is the principal role and what is the supportive role?
Yes.
And we've got to play that. So team sport, you cannot win as a team if each person does not play their role.
Absolutely. And now gender roles have blended. In our house, it's very interesting. He does all the bathing, he does all the cooking, he's the one who cuts the children's nails. So it's not that because I'm the mom, I do this. So for us, we lead with our strengths, we complement each other, and it's a collaborative relationship. And I think that's why there is so much love and harmony in our home, because we both allow ourselves that space that, okay, you do you, I do me, and then together we do great things.
Absolutely right. And one of the biggest challenges in any relationship is expectations.
Yeah.
And mostly expectations that are unsaid.
Yeah.
So one, expectations themselves are, not the best way to grow a relationship or strengthen a relationship. So I once read that, convert your expectations into appreciation and the world changes.
Yeah.
However, we all have expectations.
Yes.
We need to lay them out.
Yeah, express
and
them.
then also calibrate.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing is good enough now.
Exactly.
Somebody will hear that, oh, I bathe. But
Yeah.
I bathe because I want to,
Right.
not because you tell me to.
Correct.
So now somebody gets an expectation that, oh, why doesn't
She cook.
my husband do this?
Yeah.
See, we've got to again play on the strengths.
Yeah.
Play as a team. If I'm good at something and I like doing something,
Right.
I should do it.
Right.
And getting clarity on roles.
Yeah.
And then also getting clarity on growth areas
Yeah.
is important. Rather than creating conflict of you don't do this. So look at everything from a positive mindset rather than coming from a lacking or a scarcity
Complaining
mindset.
yeah.
So I think that's very important,
Yes.
because when you become a parent, the stress levels also go up.
Yeah.
Because one, you're new to this, you don't know what's going on. The baby crying becomes like end of the world, which is not.
Right.
Babies cry, that's all they do. So, and as the baby goes through different phases of life, they have different stages. So rather than making that a stressor, we need to understand this is going to happen. How do we best handle it?
Yeah.
And handle it as a team. So I'll keep saying that. I'm like, the better team that you are, the better you're going to be at this role that...
And we are badass team.
well, let's see. Let the kids decide.
I think we're doing good.
We're good, doing good. Always room to improve, but
Yes.
we're doing alright.
Yes. And what I'm hearing you say is also that do your healing work, because again, when we become parents, there is no manual, there is no guide, and like you beautifully said that you become a parent for the first time. When we had Arjun, our eldest, who is now going to be 20, we had no guidelines. And then, yes, our parents did the best that they could, but there were certain things which had to change. We had to upgrade our own parenting style, because I'm not saying the earlier style was ineffective, I would say it's outdated, because the world in which we grew up does not exist anymore. So we have to do the hard work of changing our own mindset, because the norms have changed and we parents have to change. I work a lot with parents, young adults and teenagers, and every parent says, oh, I want to raise a confident child. So do we. We want to raise responsible, respectful, confident children. And there was a Harvard study that said, that found that most confident kids had parents who were doing one thing right. They had one thing that they were doing differently. These were kids whose parents praised effort more than results and focused a lot on self-improvement and kept praising the children for whatever that they were bringing to the table. And these were parents who were not just calling their kids intelligent, smart, or good. They were not just focused on their intelligence or abilities. They were also parents who were nurturing inner qualities, inner attributes. Sandeep and I praise our children for the qualities that make them who they are, from being kind, from being helpful, from treating others with respect. These are the core values which we want to raise our children with, and these are the things that we celebrate. Just yesterday, our youngest twin came and she said, I helped 5 people in school today, and both of us clapped and cheered the loudest to say, that's amazing, Ayana. These are the things that we care about the most, that you are helping people. You will be known for that most helpful girl in your class. So again, parents, I want you to know there are things that you can say. The right things is, for example, you can say, you're getting better every time with math, Amana. Well done. We like how you're trying different things, Arjun. You've been putting in so much effort, Ayana, and yes, it's going to pay off. Mistakes help us learn. We as adults are also making mistakes, so let's learn together and let's keep trying. Because when our children make mistakes, sometimes we parents tend to shame them, judge them, blame them, and then this is what becomes their inner dialogue, that I'm not good enough, I am a failure, I will never succeed. In fact, our son made one, he went to college just last year and he made a mistake, and we are very grateful that he turned to us when he made that mistake for guidance, for mentoring, because that is when parenting is done right, when you are your children's safe haven. If they make a mistake, they know they won't be shamed for it, and they can come to the parents and learn from that experience. So again, these are the few things that I want to tell parents, that your words have power, your words have energy. Make sure that you choose your words wisely, because the way you talk to your children becomes their inner voice. It becomes their way of thinking. So please watch what you're saying to your children.
Rightly said. As parents, we are raising the next generation of parents, right? So they need to understand that life is a team sport.
Yeah.
No matter where you are, it's all about how do you coexist.
Yeah.
So, and if they don't see that
demonstrated,
life becomes win-lose.
Yes.
An individual sport.
Yeah.
Which it's not.
Yeah.
You can't lead life
That's a good point.
alone, right? So that's, I think, extremely important, and that's why there is such huge learnings that come from the arena of sport.
Yeah.
You kind of, because it's not one game lost doesn't mean an Indian team lost the finals, doesn't mean they're a bad team.
Or they're failures, yeah.
Right? So you get up again, they play again, and so it's, but somehow we parents make life more about academics.
Yeah.
Oh, if you fail the test, it's failed.
Yeah.
It's end of the world.
Failed an interview, you're a loser.
Yeah, and there is, that's how we've been raised. That's how the schooling system is, because the whole schooling system is based on a critical viewpoint of life.
Yeah.
That always focus on what you don't know and focus on that.
Right.
And not that, okay, you're really good at this.
Yeah.
Let's focus more on that, and not, and also we'll build on the other weak points that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of keeps percolating in because the feedback that's coming from the school is always like that.
Yeah.
So parents come in, they become critical.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really lead anywhere.
Yeah.
Then the office culture becomes the same.
Yes.
And then we bring it home,
Yeah.
and we're also criticizing each other for whatever is not right.
Right.
And the appreciation just goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now everybody's talking about, oh, be grateful for what you have.
Mm.
So, that's not the critical part of life, it's the
Positive
good part.
aspect of life.
Absolutely. So I think as parents, we need to do more. And where rubber meets road is when there is a crisis with your child. So when he has done something which was not as per your expectation,
He or she.
or if she's done something which is something that
Maybe
doesn't
inappropriate.
doesn't fit into the norms or academics.
Yeah.
That's when you tell them how to handle life,
Right.
and not make it end of the world,
Yeah.
because we're seeing that suddenly little things happen and kids try to harm themselves,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Essentially coming from a very judgmental approach
Yeah.
that we might have at home or in
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
We need to kind of be a little less judgmental. Understand that kids are very innocent. I mean, like they'll do stuff not understanding.
They are curious.
Yeah, so forgiveness is a key part of this entire parenting journey. Extremely important. And if I look at parenting as a role, it is a mix of every role that we play.
Yeah.
You're the provider when they're infants, then you're teachers when they're growing up, then you also are leaders because they're looking at you
Yeah.
and seeing how we want to deal with life. And most of our own parenting styles are actually mirrored from what we saw our
How we
father
were
do.
parented. Yes.
Right? So, if we are reactive fathers, we think that's just the norm.
Right.
If our mothers were, always,
Critical or
doing stuff,
Yeah.
at the home, our expectation is the same from our wife.
right.
But as each individual is different, each circumstance is different. So we need to find our own little balance
Yeah.
and break away from it. Recognize that there are certain patterns that weren't right with our parents. And it happened with me because my dada was very reactive. I saw him, he was like, get angry really quickly. So did my father. And I think at a certain part of my life, I was very reactive. Everything like, I've set into it. But things don't work like that. Kids
Thank you for sharing.
kids don't understand anger, right? So if you're angry at the kid, he's going to be fearful, and then communication's gone.
Yeah.
Then he's not going to talk to you. He's just going to start leading a dual life, and then there's no relationship. The most important relationship in your life you've destroyed. Why? Because you're getting angry.
Yeah.
So its analogy is that if you speak French and I speak English,
Yeah.
the only way for us to talk to each other is when we learn each other's language.
Yeah.
And kids don't understand anger.
Yeah.
We need to come to their level to make them explain things that, okay, why do we think it's not right? How could have they done better? And still create a safe space.
And you do that so beautifully with our children. You explain to them why, you don't judge them, you understand where they're coming from, and you treat them with kindness and respect.
I've been taught that. And then start like that. So I think that is extremely important. I think if I see father and son relationship, I'm generalizing, not good to generalize, but anger coming from the father, reactivity from the father, lack of understanding. And we've all been in that place. I mean, like when we were kids, we were like, why can't he just talk? Can we just talk and talk nicely? And that one thing can actually change that father-son,
Bond.
generational gap that we keep talking
Yes.
about. There's nothing else. It's just that.
You're right.
And
that's,
it's not the message, because every father says, "Oh, I love you and I'm only doing for your best."
Yeah.
But it's not about what you're saying, it's about how you're saying it. And that's key to the whole relationship canvas, that even husband and wife, you try to improve each other, but the way you say it kind of creates, and it's the way that makes all the difference.
You're so right.
And teaching our kids how to communicate well is, I think, the largest,
biggest responsibility.
most important thing that a parent can do.
Thank you so much for sharing this, because I can see that the biggest pain in today's generation or in today's world is gap between fathers and sons. And the bigger responsibilities of the parent to make sure that you connect with your child, that you have open conversations with your children without judging them or blaming them, and when they do make mistakes, to not come down so hard on them, because if we do that, then what are we doing? What message are we sending our children? That they cannot come to us, they cannot talk to us. And it's really an honor that your children come to you when they have made a mistake or when they need guidance, because that's our most important role. Like you beautifully said, we are their teachers, we are their guides, and it's our responsibility to teach them the right from wrong. And that takes me to our next question, which is, what are the things that become challenging for you on your parenting journey that you wish that you had probably fixed them before?
I think one of the biggest thing is just lack of self-awareness and too much expectation. And both are kind of intertwined.
Yeah.
But just the lack of awareness and also taking what and the way we were parented as the benchmark.
Yeah.
You know, and saying, justifying behavior that is inappropriate. I think one of the biggest challenges that I felt or I faced as a parent. I think you helped greatly in helping me improve that. And self-awareness just means that if I have had a bad day at work, I don't need to bring it and dump it on the kids, which happens all the time. You had a bad day, you come in, the kid asks innocent question, and boom,
they become victims of that.
And they don't understand that. So then they're now thinking that they're being judged or they're not good enough, and you're not loved, and they have nothing to do with it.
Yes.
So I think it's important for us to be aware what state of mind I'm in, what baggage I'm carrying from, and what dirt will I carry into my home, and consciously discard it. Or if you can't, then tell the family that I'm going through something.
Yes, express
Give
it.
me an hour, give me a 2, or today just let me be. So that people understand that we will go through these kind of turmoils, but that turmoil should not create a very negative, destructive pattern that now the next generation carries.
Beautiful.
So I think that self-awareness of what I'm feeling, and also a certain amount of regulation that I'm not going to dump it on my family, the people I love the most.
Yes.
And then one other thing is that if you do, apologize. Go back and
acknowledge it.
Tell them that it was not right, and
I'm sorry, I was having a bad day. Thank you, and you demonstrate that beautifully. In fact, he always says the most important work happens when I come home. That's the most important work. How you show up for your family, how you show up for your children is what matters the most. And you are doing a beautiful, brilliant job.
Thank you. But the same thing happens at work too, or with your friendships. Once you start becoming self-aware, you become a better professional, a better entrepreneur, a better friend,
person.
a better friend. So I'm just saying, whatever gets done in this lab called family only helps you become better everywhere else.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I've seen people try to be the best outside, and they're like, oh, this is my space, I can do what I want. But the impact that you're having on the next generation is something that we need to carry. And please don't misunderstand me. I mean, it's not about being soft on the kids. It's not that, we're making them too sensitive to things. Absolutely not. There's got to be grit built into kids, and you can't let them just give up stuff. So this is not that. This is just how a parent needs to be. Even pushing them to do stuff can be done very nicely. A very, very strong message can be given very nicely.
Kindly, yes.
So don't misunderstand me. I am a full believer that grit is key for kids to survive in the world today. The way we create that grit is key.
Yes.
It's grit cannot be created with anger and reactivity.
Yeah.
Grit has to be created in a very supportive and an uncompromising manner, where we don't have any other choice. We have to be effort oriented. So that's an important
Yes.
lesson. I think that all parents can benefit.
Can you please talk to our audience about optimal stress? Because I know you live your life like that and you're leading your children with that. So can you talk a little bit about optimal stress and its benefits?
Sure. So stress is a demonized word to my mind.
Yeah.
Everybody just talks about toxic stress. But there's studies after studies that have been done, and in my limited knowledge, I don't know much, but experts say that our body and our mind and our soul survives or thrives under certain kinds of stress. So I'm kind of digressing, but I'll just give you a nugget. Exercise is a form of stress. We all know it's really good for us, right? And that is stress that wherein the body is now in lack of oxygen, and it does wonders for our body. I'm not going to get into too many details here. Then fasting is supposed to be really good for you. That's a kind of stress wherein you're taking calories away from your body, and the body really thrives. Cold exposures are supposed to be really good for you in terms of health and longevity, and that's temperature stress. Similarly, mental stress. There is an optimal stress, and studies done, elaborate studies done, where it say that it's an inverted U curve. Too little stress, and you're not performing or achieving more or feeling rewarded or feeling happy. And so when you create the optimal amount of stress, that means that's when you are performing at your optimal level. That means you're being pushed not to the breaking point. You're not being left to just be a potato. So that optimal stress, and each individual has its own level of optimal stress. And as parents and leaders, we need to find what is that optimal level of stress that a child can handle. Your two children could have different thresholds, but that stress is important because that's what life is going to throw at you, right? And what that teaches you is that you're not going to give up, right? And you're not going to make it so extreme that it becomes toxic and people
damaging,
and people just kind of completely implode.
So
very, very important for us to create that. And it can be created very easily. Okay, you've got to go pursue sport. You've got to put in a certain amount of hours into academics. You've got to, not give up. So optimal stress, we need to become masters of creating that optimal stress, wherein that becomes a bonding point and not a conflict point. Just a little episode from our own life. Arjun wanted to give up maths in grade 9, right? And you were supportive of him giving it up because you didn't like maths. Okay. And truth be told, I gave up maths in class 10. However, I saw that maths is like a life skill, and he shouldn't give it. So I put my foot down, saying, "You're not giving up maths in grade 10." And we supported him the best that we can to get. So what I told him is, you don't need to be an A student. Just go through it. Just pass. Just get enough to progress. And he listened. He resisted. He resisted like nobody's business. And eventually we became a team. The mother agreed that yes, he needs to do this. And today he is pursuing his undergrad with maths as a major. Not because we told him, because he fell in love with maths. So it is important for us to push the boundaries with our kids, for them to understand what they are capable of. But we need to do it in a loving manner.
That's the word. Do it in a loving, kind manner.
So that's important. Right? And can be done very easily by setting consequences. Right? Doesn't have to become a fight. Doesn't have to get, you don't need to get angry all the time. We get angry.
Yeah, you're human.
Correct. And anger has its role in
Yeah,
parenting.
yeah.
Right? Kids need to understand that if they push the limits, that's going to be one of the reactions.
Yes.
So I'm not even saying that, oh, you cannot get angry.
Of course,
I mean,
yes.
like we are human beings, we will get angry.
Yes.
But this got to be calibrated.
Yeah.
You've got to use anger where it is absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Right? And also that can be avoided because you can say the same thing in a better manner.
Yeah.
So being reactive, which is what anger is, can be avoided.
Yeah.
It can be used as a tool wherein you're doing it very consciously, not really losing control, but showing them that there is a certain amount. And truth be told, I do that all the time. I've started acting a little bit angry.
Yeah.
So I think it's and that's also a way to kind of create a little bit of stress.
Yes. So yes, thank you for sharing that. And my thoughts on few challenges that I faced when I became a first-time mom was, yes, I was overprotective. I didn't know where to set the boundaries and the ground rules because again, there was no manual and guide. And now I know, I wish I knew that it's important to build what is strong in your child more than trying to fix what is wrong. So what sometimes we parents do is we correct and critique more than we connect. So first connect with your child, build what is strong, and then of course your job is to fix what's wrong. And I was also with Arjun, our firstborn. I was a bit permissive with Arjun. I was very loving, very providing, but there were less guidelines and less rules. And our parenting experience or style with Arjun has helped us become our better versions with our twin daughters who are teenagers. And of course, parenting is lifelong learning, it's mutual growth, it's mutual kinship. But now we know that we are less indulgent, we are more involved, we offer more guidance and direction. Earlier with Arjun, we were, at least for me, I was just wanting to be a friendly parent all the time, but you're a parent first and then a friend. You can be a friendly parent, don't get me wrong, but your role is to play the parenting role first. Our disciplining style has also become better. We are firm and kind, and we've set consequences which our children are aware, which they respect. And now Arjun, our eldest, thanks us for setting those limits, setting those ground rules, setting those boundaries, because he sees his peers and he sees that he is different from others. He's respectful, he's responsible, he's confident, helpful. And again, as a parent, you can have your own parenting map. These are few core values that we value, and these are the values that we are imparting our children. Still work and learn. But yes, there were few challenges which we faced. We are working on overcoming them and becoming our better selves every single day. And then I'm also, because of the practice that I'm in, at Happiness is Love, we teach parents the effective parenting style. There is an effective style, there is a positive style. We made many pre-recorded sessions, we do live seminars, we have a YouTube channel where we talk about positive parenting strategies. There are simple positive parenting strategies, if used well, can foster a healthy bond, healthy relationship between a parent and child, where there is respect, there is communication, there is love, there is support, there is pressure, but again in moderation. And this strong foundation often leads to enduring positive relationships between parents and their adult children. So again, parents, if you want to learn more about the assertive communication style, we are here for you. You can reach out to us at Happiness is Love. This is what we do. This is the gift that we give parents, where we can raise ourselves so that we can raise our children right. My next question to you is, when I say raise yourself before you raise your kids, what comes to your mind?
Self-awareness. Just being aware of how you're going to do this, and how you're going to handle moments of weakness.
Yeah.
I think extremely important.
Yes.
In my journey, yoga and meditation have really helped.
Yes.
So I would recommend that every parent, 5 minutes of little mindfulness, some kind of meditation would really help. Just breath focus, because we're just living from thought to thought, and little things trigger us, and we need to kind of
work on our triggers.
Yeah, we need to kind of mutate them. Just
take responsibility for your triggers.
So extremely important to be mindful. I think parenting is a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's a skill just like any other skill. It requires a huge amount of practice,
Mm-hmm.
requires guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and requires evaluation.
Mm.
So, and the evaluation needs to be by the kids
Yeah.
for you to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And the guidance can come from your family or people like Jyotika, who runs this beautiful, beautiful initiative. I see her help a lot of people in beautiful ways, impacting them in such profound manner that families change or generations change. So feel free to ask questions. I know she replies to every question that comes through. So use that. It is a skill. So understand that, and you can always
Learn
get
it.
better. There's lots of books.
Yeah.
Sure, you should actually recommend a few books that people can read, people who are into. But it's work and learn.
Yeah.
So as parents, also we are students for life.
Yeah.
There is no perfect parent.
Mm-hmm.
So just getting to understand what your child is feeling.
Mm-hmm.
What is she going through? Remembering what we went through when we were their age.
Yeah.
I think we just completely forget.
Yeah.
Just a little on the lighter side. You have this saas bahu thing. It's been going on forever because nobody learns. It's like, oh, I was given this, I'm going to give it back.
Mm-hmm.
But if we remember that we were at the receiving end,
and break the cycle.
What could we have done?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with parenting.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the father-son gap. That father-son gap turns into a mother-son bonding experience, which creates the husband-wife gap.
Yeah.
Right? Because now there is, this
expectation of the wife
there
to be
is
like the mother.
there is opposing teams
Yeah,
within a team.
true
So
that.
there is this. So
well
and with
said.
very very little things you can make sure, and all that. Just remember, we've all gone through the same thing. It's human life pretty much stays the same. So whatever our child's going through, we've done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have better expectations suddenly out of our child. Why? We shouldn't.
Allow them
They're
to be
fallible.
kids. Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's not rob them of their bachpan. I mean, let them just do some stuff and get away with it.
Yeah.
So, and give them that little leverage, saying that agar galti karoge to
I'm here.
rather than
I
becoming,
got your back, yeah.
rather than becoming
The
doesn't
enemies,
mean that
yeah.
you're raising psychopaths, but
Exactly. Yeah.
but a little bit of shararat. I mean, like I was a very very naughty kid, and I got beaten up quite a bit by my parents. It doesn't mean that they're bad parents. I love them, and but I'd love for my kids to do some,
And
naughty
you're a
stuff.
cycle breaker. You have never raised your hand on your children ever.
Yeah, because I also had a big threat from you that I can't do it.
Yeah,
So,
because I don't
but
subscribe to that.
Yeah, I've never done that. So
Yeah.
there's nothing coming out. It's only that's your weakest moment
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Raising a hand on somebody who can't react,
Yes.
or even raising a hand period is useless.
It's
Violence
cruelty.
doesn't do anything.
Yes.
But raising your hand on your wife or your kids is there's no way to you describe that. So.
Yeah. We actively seek feedback from our 3 children. Every month we have a meeting, we call it the family meeting. And we ask them, how can we improve as parents? What can we do to offer more support to you? How can we show more love to you? Just basic, simple questions. Asking actually each other, we ask each other, what can I do to show more caring and love to you? And we ask the same to our kids. And now our kids actually mock us every month when we have this meeting. They're like, we've given you enough feedback, now go work on that and don't keep asking us for more. But these little things are so useful in building a better bond with your spouse and with your children. And they start modeling this. And when I've seen them as siblings, they share a very good relationship because they ask each other or they express to the other what they want and need. And they're able to now set boundaries so that they can enjoy a better connect. And to share more about self-awareness, is very important as parents to work on our communication style, because like you beautifully said, our parents were not as exposed, they were not so aware on the effective communication style. Now, with so much information freely available to us, we have to do the parenting job of learning how to connect better and communicate better. So just check in with yourself and ask yourself, is there anything I can do to improve my own attitude and behavior towards my spouse first? Because like I said, parenting starts with your marriage. Children are watching how you two communicate, how you address conflict, how you deal with differences. So focus on your approach instead of just trying to correct or change your spouse or your children all the time. So just practice the pause, ask yourself, what is my communication style as a parent? What is my disciplining style? Is there something that I can learn from? Is my communication style or parenting style empowering? Is it encouraging? Or is it commanding, demanding, dictating, sometimes controlling, or to complaining? Ask yourself this question without judging yourself. And then learn, how can I be more expressive? How can I express my expectations more respectfully? How can I invite more cooperation from my child? How can I be more involved with my child? Just basic, simple, self-reflective questions will give you answers which are within you, and they're very simple. If you're struggling, you're not alone. We are here for you.
I just want to say something.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of when our firstborn Arjun was growing up, and this is a classic thing, in India we have the thing, bacha gir gaya, then the grandparents and parents will start hitting the floor.
Yes.
Floor ganda hai, and
Pitti pitti and yeah.
So, and that creates a blaming mentality in the child. That
Yes.
I have never done anything wrong.
Right.
The fact that I fell
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Had no responsibility to me. But to make and raise responsible kids, you got to tell them, oh, you fell because you fell out of balance, and now you got to do something about it.
Right.
So every time Arjun would fall, I would tell him, go get ice.
Yeah.
So first few times, and it was hard for me to control the grandparents because he had a few really nasty falls.
He cut
But
himself.
but I told them, don't get up. And in I think fourth or the fifth instance onwards, he would not even cry, and he would run to the fridge to get ice.
Yeah.
Because I told him,
You're
so
right.
he would say ice. So I'm just saying, as parents, we need to use all these moments to create a more responsible human being.
Yes.
Right, and not kind of blame. My parents would say, "Oh, my son's not studying, he's not getting good grades.
Blame the
Friends
school
are not.
or
Friends
blame
are not
school,
nice.
Yeah.
School." So I'm saying we need to start modeling a responsible behavior when kids start understanding that I am facing something because I'm not doing good enough.
Yes.
And that comes from the parents.
Yeah.
The parents also have to start saying, "Oh, my kid's not doing well because I am not giving them enough time."
Yeah.
And one other thing that I think is important, and we've also learned the hard way, don't let your love be expressed only in things.
Yeah.
It's good to get some gifts and some things, but if we create or raise kids who only expect gifts and things as an expression of love, we again not raising very responsible and evolved human beings.
Or happy individual because they only value things and not
material.
value.
We are just going to raise materially driven kids, and not many will agree, but most of us eventually realize that we don't need too many things, and we don't need to kind of get so embroiled into life, equating it only with what we own or what we have.
Yeah.
And more so, one of the things that you did with our kids, which I think was amazing, was that every time they got a gift, they had to give away a gift to somebody, and that kind of makes them understand the value of sharing, and also makes them non-hoarders. So I think these little things add up.
They do. And now it comes naturally to them. If they get a gift, they're more
Yeah.
excited to give.
And also the points thing was beautiful for young adults, wherein for every good thing done, you earn a point.
Yes.
And then at a very young age, you start understanding even the value of money, how you spend and how you
Absolutely.
save and how for a bad behavior, you get a fine. So I think those little things really, really, really help.
Our children have to earn their rewards. We just don't hand them their things. We haven't given our son a phone till he was 16. And same rules are for the girls. So again, as parents, very important to be mindful of what does your parenting map look like, what is your compass, and again, are you aligned as a couple in terms of how you want to raise your children? Because every family is unique, every couple is unique. There's no right or wrong, but you have to focus on what is right for you.
It's 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock. We have our last question. What are a few things that you had to unlearn about traditional parenting to reach this state of conscious parenting?
Sure. I think disciplinarian kind of parenting was something that I had to unlearn. It was like, okay, this must be done, or you must do this, or you have to do this. I think that was because every child is very unique.
Yes.
Ash loves sport, Arjun didn't like sport. So I wanted to kind of push him into everything, but eventually I realized that he's not going to do anything. He's going to do other things, which is other than sport. So I'm just saying, putting your own expectation that were unmet onto your child was one of the biggest things that I had to unlearn. And I think we all are guilty of it at a certain point in time. So I think just be conscious that, if we had some unmet expectations or desires or needs, that necessarily does not translate into our kids' needs. We need to inquire and understand
what are their individual needs.
So I think, and that's very important.
Yes.
It's been said always that we want our kids to be doctors, lawyers, or engineers because that's what was expected out of us. So similarly, if something wasn't given to me and I say, dad, giving him that will make the world of a difference, or I could not become a national level sportsman, I'm going to give him everything. But I'm saying he's got to be a collaborator in that decision.
Yes.
It can't be something that I know better.
Yes.
Deal. We need to start playing roles wherein we push them on choices that they make. Rather than making all
those
the
choices for them.
So I think that's one thing.
We need their buy-in as well. Like you said, it's a team sport, so very important to sit with your children, talk to them, listen to them. Parents, I know, I've also been guilty of the same. We don't really listen to our children. We don't listen to what they want and need. It's more about, okay, I'm the parent, I will be the one preaching to you. I'm going to be the one giving you instructions because I know better. So please try to first understand before you share anything or act out or lash out, because conscious parents see their children as equals. Because again, respect comes from respect. A lot of parents are sometimes disrespectful to their children, but in return expect their children to be respectful. That's not how it works. And Happiness is Love, this is what we help you. We help you with your inner child work, with you raising your child first before you raise one. And we can all unlearn. We can begin anytime, because the idea is to reflect on our own core beliefs which may not be serving our relationship. We can practice forgiveness, we can do the inner parenting, parent ourselves, and you can seek help. You can reach out to us because we truly care and we are here. Because conscious parenting focuses on parenting mindset, on being more self-aware, on emotional regulation, and conscious parents monitor their own thoughts, their own behaviors, their own actions, because they know the impact that you have on the children. And this parenting philosophy aims primarily to prevent negative parenting patterns by encouraging more positivity, curiosity, collaboration. And I would like to say, let's all heal. We've all had some kind of trauma. Everybody's trauma is unique. Nobody's is more or less. But the goal is we need to do the healing work. Heal because our children don't deserve our broken versions. Any last words?
Yeah, sure. So one thing that, as human beings, we are always focused on what is not.
The lacking
mindset. So no matter how good a parent you are, your kids will somehow latch on to what you didn't.
Right.
Just like you keep saying that my parents left me and went
for
to
a holiday when I was in grade 10.
And that gets thrown at the parents
Yeah.
more than the good
That they did,
that
yeah.
they did, and the good far outweighs. I'm saying at that point also we need to show a little bit of grace and say, okay, you know what, we understand that,
Yeah.
and you know, it's just, but that's innate human nature. You know, I keep talking about this little ghazal or a song that I heard, which is, you know, ये दुनिया जिसे कहते हैं जादू का खिलौना है, जो मिल गया वो मिट्टी, जो ना मिला वो सोना है. So understanding that, you know, what we have is sona and what we don't have is mitti, and teaching that to our children, I think that probably is a beautiful way to be a really, really successful parent. That's it.
Thank you for being one. Do I get a kiss? Thank you, everyone. Please follow us on Happiness is Love, Love, Love. We're on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and now we have this podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. And you can join our Happiness is Love community. Until then, keep smiling, shining, and inspiring.
And ask questions, and I'm telling
Please
you,
engage, please ask questions.
She will be able to help you like you can't imagine. Ask questions. I do all that.